Good morning everyone, I hope we are well. Today we're going to be learning how to find any term in a sequence when we have been given the nth term. Let me show you what that means. Okay, we'll start off with a question. My question to you is, what is the first term in the sequence 2n? Well, we know from the last few lessons that 2n is our 2 times tables. So the first term in that sequence would be 2, because my 2 times tables start off with a 2. Next question. What would the fifth term in the sequence 2n be? Well, by fifth term, I simply mean the fifth number in that sequence. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My fifth number is 10. Alright, but what about if I asked you, well, what is the 50th term in the sequence 2n? Well, there's a few ways we could do this. One way I certainly would not do this is list my 2 times tables until I reach 50. That's going to take me a very long time. It's time consuming. It's not an efficient way of solving that problem. So let's think, is there a quicker way to do it? Well, the first term in my 2 times tables I calculate by going, well, 2 times 1. The second term I'll go 2 times 2. My third term will be 2 times by 3. To get the fourth term in the 2 times tables I'll go 2 times 4 and so on. And 2 times 5 would give me my fifth term. Do we notice a pattern there? Let me go back. So 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4, 2 times 5. Do we notice that all I'm doing to find a particular term number, I just times it by 2. Okay, so let's say my term number is 5, I'm doing 5 times by 2. So if I want the 50th term, all I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 lots of 50. So effectively what I have done, I've looked at my nth term, so my algebra, and instead of n, I've replaced it with the term number I'm trying to find. So instead of 2 lots of n, so 2 times n, to get my 50th term, I'm doing 2 times by 50. So I'm effectively saying that to find a particular term in a sequence, we substitute n with the term which we're trying to find. So let's say I'm trying to find term 50. Instead of n, so instead of 2 lots of n, I'm going to call it 2 lots of 50. Let me give you some more examples. We'll make it a bit more challenging. Okay, so next one. What is the first term in the sequence 2n plus 1? Well, 2n plus 1 is my 2 times tables with 1 added on. But using my substitution method, well, I could say, well, my first term is 2 lots of 1 add 1, because I'm swapping n with the term number I'm trying to find. If I'm trying to find term 1, I'm going to call it 2 times by 1 and then plus 1. So that 2 with the brackets next to it just means 2 times by that number in the bracket. So 2 times by 1 gives me 2, and then add 1 to it, that gives me 3. Okay, so my first term in that sequence is 3. How would I find the second term in that sequence? Well, using my substitution method, I'm going to swap n with the term number I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the second term, so I'm going to do 2 times by 2 and then add 1. Okay, so that gives me 5. So keeping this going, how would I find the third term in the sequence? Well, I would do 2 lots of 3 and then add 1. So 2 lots of 3 gives me 6. And 6 add 1 gives me 7. Okay, but then, what if I asked you, well, what is the 30th term in the sequence? Well, one thing I definitely wouldn't do is write this sequence out for a long time until I reach 30. All I'm going to do is I'm going to use my substitution method. So, I'm doing 2 lots of 30, add 1, gives me 61. So the 30th term in my sequence is 61. Okay, so what I would like us to do is pause the video and see if you can write the first 5 terms and the 50th term of the following sequences. If you're feeling a bit stuck, just leave the video running and I'm going to talk you through both of these examples now. Okay, so let's try my first question. So 3n plus 1. So I know it's the 3 times tables with 1 added on. Okay, so my first term will be 3 lots of 1 add 1 because I'm swapping n with the term number I'm trying to find. So 3 lots of 1 is 3, add 1 gives me 4. To find my second term, I'm swapping n with 2, so I'm doing 3 lots of 2, add 1, and that gives me 7. Okay, I'm going to carry on that process to find the first 5 terms. So far I've got 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, but then the question also asked me to find the 50th term. Okay, so again I'm taking this rule, and instead of n, I'm going to call it 50. So I'm doing 3 lots of 50 to give me 150, and then add 1 to give me 151. So that's what my sequence looks like. So I've got my first 5 terms, and I've just drawn these little dots just to show that there's a gap between my 5th term and the 50th term. Okay, so if you're feeling confident, you're going to pause the video and see if you can do negative 3n plus 1. If you're not feeling confident, just leave the video running. Okay, so my first term, well, it's negative 3 lots of 1, and then I'm adding on 1. So minus 3 times 1 gives me minus 3, and then minus 3 add 1 gives me minus 2, because I'm going up towards 0. Second term, well, it's negative 3 lots of 2 to give me negative 6, and negative 6 add 1 gives me negative 5. Okay, I'm doing that same process to find the first 5 terms, which you can see on your screen now. And then let's find the 50th term together. So we're going to do negative 3 times by 50. So a negative number times by a positive number gives me negative. So it's negative 150. And then I'm adding on 1 to give me negative 149. So that's my 50th term. Okay guys, what I would like you to do now, you've got 4 questions on your screen. So it's just like what we've done. What I would like you to do, I want you to list the first 5 terms and also the 50th term for each of the following sequences. As soon as you're ready for the answers, just unpause the video. Alright guys, these are the answers that you should have got for those sequences. At this point, please can you find the worksheet that I've attached for you on Google Classroom. So all you need to do, you're going to do as many as you can in the space of our normal hour-long lesson slot. So for each row you have the nth term, so you have your algebra, and I want to know, well, what is the first term in that sequence? What's the second term in that sequence? So be careful, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. It just goes term 1, then term 2, and then jumps straight to term 5 and term 10. So read the top row carefully to make sure you know what term number you're trying to find. Alright? And just let me know if you need any help with that, and I'll be around to help you on Google Classroom. Okay, thank you very much guys.